we need to stop pretending that it's normal for us to eat as much carbohydrate as we eat, because all winter long we would not have had access. Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. I'm Violet.
And I'm Pat.
We make these videos because we want to make sure that you guys have the best possible information about keto, low carb, basically being healthy. Patrick brings interesting articles, videos, podcasts, information. What do we have today?
Okay, every year there's an organization ranking the best diets, and for 2019, keto was ranked the worst. So out of, I don't know how many, 20, 25 different diets, keto came in last. So
Keto came in last. 25.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
There's a bunch of them,
But
worst
we were
out of
number
35. I see it. Worst out of 35.
We were number 35.
So we were number 35 out of 35.
I am so interested to understand which ones beat us, and I'm so wanting to hear standard American diet.
No.
I'm so wanting to hear.
You see, I was trying to find if that study was sponsored by some kind of whole grain company, but I didn't find it. But anyway, so let's see why. First of all, we're going to go through why is it last. One diet that I want to check with you, because I think it's really popular, or it's being promoted as a good diet to lower blood pressure, hypertension, and I'm not so convinced that it could do that. But
I will help you with as much information that I have, because I'm reminding everybody that I am not a doctor. Okay.
The organization said each of the diets was given ratings out of 5 in the following categories.
Okay.
So categories: how easy it is to follow, its ability to produce short-term and long-term weight loss, its nutritional completeness, its safety, and its potential for preventing and managing diabetes and heart disease.
Well, how is nutritional completeness and safety different?
I don't know.
Okay,
so the keto diet did not score well in any of those categories. Surprisingly,
it starts with that?
Yeah. So
wait a minute. This is about diets.
Yeah.
And it starts with the
that.
keto diet didn't score well in any of the categories.
In preventing and managing diabetes.
It didn't score well in preventing and managing diabetes. Who did this study?
Yeah. So it gets better. One expert warned that those with severe diabetes, kidney disease, and heart disease should not follow the keto diet. So,
which expert was this?
I don't know. So be careful. So especially diabetes, studies have shown that you can reverse diabetes, you can get rid of your medication, you can I don't know why I don't have more information why it did score that low, but that doesn't make sense.
So wait a minute, they don't give us any information as to what causes it to score low?
Because the thing is, I reviewed a few articles talking about that study, but I don't have the study itself. Okay. So I'm giving you the information how it is interpreted by the article I've read. This is Global News, the first one. Even though the source is not very pro keto, the data is still there. So the study ranked the keto diet low in diabetes fixing. So it's kind of weird.
I really feel like that's the first indication to me that this study or this whole article is garbage, because if there was one place that keto should have won, it was solving diabetes.
So, but there was one category that it didn't score that bad. So it scored 3.8 out of 5. It was in the short-term weight loss, not even the long-term weight loss. There's the short-term weight loss.
I feel like we're in that vortex again, where they're going to say that the weight you're losing is water.
No, not even.
Okay.
So one of the things that made it score bad is the fiber. Again, we're back with the fiber.
The lack of fiber?
So the fiber may be down because it's commonly found in carbohydrates, which can lead to constipation, falls. Are you constipated after 2 years? Me neither. We eat salad. We eat vegetables. We eat
you know what's funny? I'm laughing here
broccoli.
because you
Crazy.
eat more salad and vegetables than I do, and I'm still not constipated.
So
I can sincerely say, last week I had veg twice out of 7 days.
So
No
Yeah.
constipation here.
Constipation.
Okay.
So the LTS diet says determined by health and nutrition experts in the U.S. News and World ranking. So the U.S. News and World, this is the organization that did the study. Okay, so the healthiest one were the Mediterranean diet,
Okay.
the DASH diet, and the flexitarian diet. So I'm
What's
gonna
the
give
DASH diet?
yeah, that's the one that I want to cover like in the third part of that video. It can be extremely challenging, the article says, to stick to the keto diet for longer than a few months. You're almost into 2 years, I'm like 1 year and a half, which can lead people to yo-yo dieting. So again, false information, I think. Like you don't
Any
want to.
diet that you don't stick to will lead you to yo-yo dieting, because we keep using the word diet to mean a short-term fix of weight rather than using diet to mean the way that I live my life. For example, standard American diet is the way that a lot of people live their life, right? It's not a diet to lose weight. It's the way that we eat. So if you consider that the standard Canadian diet is the way that I was eating, and now I switched to a keto diet, all that means is that this is the way that I eat going forward. And if that's the way that I eat going forward, what makes it difficult to maintain, right? The only thing that would make it difficult to maintain is me not doing it. Technically, can we say I'm having difficulty maintaining it? Maybe. I keep doing carnivore all the time. So maybe I'm having trouble maintaining my keto lifestyle because I keep doing carnivore. But I mean, if you want
Carnivore is
to,
a subset of keto, so
but exactly, like I feel like it's just ridiculous when they
you don't have
they
carbs.
try to, you know what? Because working out is really good to do, but difficult to do, should doctors just stop telling us to work out? Should they just take it off the table? Oh, people aren't going to work out. Like,
Yeah.
just close all the gyms and just, no,
No,
we
of
don't
course
do
not.
that, right? We still tell people, work out. I tell people to work out, not because they're going to lose weight, because it's good for you to have more muscle, especially women. For some reason, the more muscle a woman has on her body, the longer she will live. I don't know why, but there's a statistic that shows more muscular women live longer. I can only assume it's the same for men, right? So why wouldn't you want to have muscle on your body, right? It helps you to move around easily. It helps you to pick up heavy things. It helps you to play better. Like, everything is better when you have more. So should doctors start telling us now, ugh, why are you bothering to go to the gym?
No, of course not.
Just because putting carbohydrates down is difficult doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing it.
But again, I know like this argument of keto not sustainable is actually coming from people being addicted to their carbs. Like, how many people you hear like they don't want to give up their bread, they don't want to give up their cereal, they don't want to give up their pasta. Once you gave them up, once you've passed your withdrawal symptoms, you don't crave them anymore. How many bread did I bought like when I started doing that were spoiling in the fridge because like I just wanted one slice every 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and after that I was like, okay, like I got tired of throwing breads in the garbage because I didn't miss it anymore.
How much vegetables have I
Like-
thrown away?
Yeah, so yeah.
No,
so,
like, we're both in the
yeah.
same. You it was bread. Me it was
Yeah.
vegetables. I up until a few weeks ago, I throw away a bunch of vegetables.
Mm.
Why? Because I buy them thinking I'm going to eat them. I have a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, I had enough, and then I throw them in the garbage.
Yeah.
Right? It's. We need to understand that we think that carbohydrates are so necessary to eat because we've been taught to eat them. And being taught to eat them led to us being addicted to them. But the truth is, once you get them out of your life, you don't really miss them that much. Especially when you let yourself eat what is healthier. So what I mean by that is, when you do eat carbs, if you go for the lowest glycemic carbohydrate foods, so if you go for the cabbage and all the vegetables that taste the least amount of sweet, so cabbage instead of broccoli, instead of asparagus, going for kale, or if you go for those lower, guess what? You get even less enthralled by them, which is what's happening to me. Right? Now, again, I still buy them once in a while because change up my plate.
I eat them.
Because he eats them, right? But in actuality, is it necessary? We make carbs
Yeah.
internally. We make them.
I honestly feels like the keto came in last because like keto is a phenomenon. Like I don't remember like even my workplace how many people have talked about this lifestyle, this even as a diet, like not doing it right, doing it right, but they talk about it. I think like the keto lifestyle scares like legitimately like scares people. Like even that like U.S. World and the News, and I don't remember like the name like already, like pushing this lifestyle would probably mean like the disappearance of grain producers, of like all the pasta producers, and like everything based on grain would be in like deep trouble if they were promoting like a keto lifestyle.
For sure, I think on an economic level, yes, I agree
Yeah.
with that. But I think on a personal level, like every individual, it's that withdrawal, that idea that
Yeah.
I can't eat that anymore. And you know what? The thing that I find funny, and like, because when I started, I had the same idea. Oh, wow, I can't have bread. How am I going to have a sandwich? Oh, wow, I can't have pasta. How am I going to, right? I did have that idea at the beginning. But like, we had health issues that needed to be addressed, where in my brain, and it was faster for me than it was for you, but I was in a lot of pain. And in my brain, being able to walk, being able to sit with my legs crossed, I'm doing it right now. Like, I'm doing it right. I do it all the time. Being able to do this and get through my work day was so much more important to me than eating bread. But here's the thing. The same way that in the low fat world, they created low fat versions of food, I went out and I found low carb versions of food to make. Now, luckily for me, and I know this is not the case with everybody because it wasn't the case for you. It took you much longer to get to this point, but for me, it happened really fast. I'm lazy when it comes to cooking. I don't want to be in the kitchen making a bunch of stuff for too long. And the time it was taking me to make a replacement bread, the time it was taking me to make a replacement lasagna, the time
Too long.
too long,
Too long.
way too long. Instead of just going to the store and buying bread, now I have to make it, and it's taking extra time. And the cost of the ingredients were 3 times.
Yeah.
Guess how fast that became not important to me.
Mm.
Not everybody's the same. Truthfully, there's lots of people who love to cook, right? That they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And they'll do it for years before they realize that it's not helping their health, because those replacement foods still have more carbs than you would have been eating had you eaten whole foods. And honestly, I do give total credit to the speed at which I lost weight, to the fact that I didn't stick on those replacement foods very long, to the fact that I wasn't interested in fat bombs, so I didn't make them. That, I think, helped me. I think I made 1 fat bomb in all the time, like at the very beginning, to see, and I tasted it and I was like, yeah, no. Right? But everybody's different. If you love to bake, you might get pulled into that. If you need to snack, you might get pulled into that, right? So everybody's different, and you need to know yourself.
Okay, let's talk about the winners. We talked about like the losers.
Okay.
And let's talk
So
about
wait,
the winners.
the losers were
And honestly, like the
just
other
keto?
thing,
We were the
no,
only
no,
loser?
no, I don't like. Yeah, they put emphasis on the keto.
But we only
like,
said one loser. Who was
oh, there was one like stupidity, like the diet 30 or something like that, where you eat like just a very limited like amount of food for 30 days, like all those fads like things. So no, they're not even
calorie
like
restriction
they're
diet.
not even worth mentioning.
Okay.
I want to put the focus on keto. And honestly, like the other thing I wanted to add is I really had the impression that the the people that did this evaluation were the kind of people that were thinking of keto like it's all about like butter wrapped bacon and had fat and coconut and fried in coconut oil, like that kind of people. So that's why it came in like last. But let's talk about the winners. We have 3. We have the DASH diet. We have the Mediterranean diet. This is interesting, and the other one is the flexitarian diet. So, the thing I would say that's positive with those 3 diets is that they're whole food based. So whole food, no processed crap at all.
Right away, you have my
So,
attention.
yeah, Mediterranean. The diet emphasize simple plant-based cooking with the majority, the majority of each meal focused on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans and seeds, with a few nuts, and a heavy emphasis on extra virgin olive oil. So you have your fat, healthy fats. Say goodbye to refined sugar, flour. That's like good. There's no bread, no pasta, no sugar.
Okay.
Fats other than olive oil, such as butter, are consumed rarely, if at all. Okay, so basically whole food base. The only thing like that we're not agree with that the are the fruits, but it's still a whole food. Well, so meat. Okay, what about meat? Meat can make a rare appearance, but usually only to flavor a dish. So meals may include eggs, dairy, poultry, but it's in much smaller portions than the traditional Western diet.
Are
But
they
of course, we
considering?
eat more meat than we should. So
Are they considering poultry not meat?
no. So basically, like what they want to get to in the Mediterranean is like way less red meats
Okay.
and pork. So poultry, fish, and however, fish is a staple. So
I was just going to say they
are
eat a lot
staple.
of fish.
So,
There's still a lot of protein in their diet.
There's still a lot of protein. The emphasis on red meat is very, very, very low, and on
Okay.
pork, they don't talk even about pork.
Okay.
So fishes. So I do honestly I do see a lot of resemblance with like the key between the Mediterranean and the keto, and maybe like people are gonna comment, no, they're not the same. If you take out the fruits and you take out the grains, you have the same variety of food. So I don't see like them that different.
Well, the
that
grains
different
are pretty significant. However, what I will say is, I think what pulls the Mediterranean apart from standard American is the non-processed. So
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the damage that happens to us is from the processed foods,
Yeah.
right? And I think that if we weren't overindulging in processed foods, then we probably could still be eating fruits and vegetables. I still wouldn't suggest eating a lot of fruit,
No.
but I think that you probably could have fruit as a dessert, as a treat, once in a blue moon. Like again, this idea that it needs to be excessive. Like if you're doing low carb and you have a small amount of fruit, it'll fit, right? If you're doing keto and you use fruit as a dessert once in a while, it'll fit.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that when we've damaged our body with sugar to the point where our liver is struggling, it takes so long for our body to heal. And we keep trying to reintroduce the poison too quickly,
Quickly.
and your body hasn't even healed yet, right? So it's like you go and you do your surgery or your chemo or your whatever for lung cancer because you were a smoker, and then you get out and you start smoking again. Like, what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna have problems again, right? So it's the same thing. Like we have to be careful with our bodies. We only get one. We have to be careful with them. We have to respect that sugar is dangerous.
Wow.
So I think the Mediterranean diet is absolutely better than standard
Yeah.
American,
Yeah,
standard
totally.
Canadian.
Totally. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Avoiding processed foods, yes.
Yeah. A little bit further in the article, broccoli makes the list because it's one of the nature's most nutrient-dense food with only 30 calories per cup. Like, never mind the calories, but that's true, and it totally fits in the keto lifestyle. Flexitarian now. Flexitarian came third on the list. I'm not sure which. I think Med was first, Dash was second, or Dash I don't know. So, but Flexitarian came third. Okay, so. But again, it has an emphasis on whole grains, fruit, veggies, plant-based proteins. It's basically a vegetarian diet that allows the occasional piece of meat or fish, thus making it
vegetarian diet.
flexible. So it's a flexi-vegetarian.
That makes me a little nervous.
yeah,
I'm not a big proponent of vegetarian.
But-
But I mean, again, if you whatever you do, but I'm just saying, like for me, I really I like the fact though that I guess what makes it good is that it allows some fish and whatever. So basically, you're doing a vegetarian diet with fish.
With fish.
I think what's kind of cool there is that there's an acknowledgement that we need animal proteins.
But my question would maybe seem stupid, but because we don't eat grain anymore, but how can you have whole grain in your diet without being processed somehow, transformed into flour to make bread or cereal or
Well, it depends if it's actually the whole grain, right?
Oh,
If
maybe
they're
corn?
no, corn is that corn is not even. Don't even. That's don't. Oh, ah. Corn is a genetically modified
Yeah.
organism. It's not. I'm not. I don't consider
Yeah.
that even food. But I'm talking about real grains.
Hmm.
I'm talking about like spelt or like those
Oh, okay.
old things. Like maybe that's what I'm assuming that's what they're talking about. If they're talking about any modern day wheat or whatever, then yeah, that's a garbage diet.
Yeah.
But and here's the but. Here's the but. Here's the but.
It's about. What is
They're
it about?
not eating chocolate bars.
No.
They're not
Yeah.
eating cookies. They're not. So, you know
Things.
what?
Yeah.
Technically, it's still better than standard American
Sure.
diet. So, if I was, seeing my kids on that, I wouldn't be upset.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
upset. That's
Yeah.
cool. Right? There's an
And
acknowledgement that processed foods
mm,
are not healthy.
yeah.
I would be happy with
Totally. And
that. Right?
added and eliminate the added sugar. And I think the younger they start on those kind of diet, like
Yeah.
they're not gonna do the damage that we did like in
No,
our
for sure not.
um,
There are our
youth.
kids have
So
knowledge.
yeah. So the DASH diet, like what about the DASH diet?
So this is the one for high blood pressure.
Yeah, I was particularly interested like in this one because it's like that. So DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension.
Okay.
So this one like caught my attention before I went keto, like just to check what was in it. So basically, what to eat. So again, whole grains, fruit, veggies, low-fat dairy product. The thing is, like the thing that I don't agree, and the study showed like it's also low salt. Like for the DASH diet,
Mhm.
one of the main problem with hypertension is the salt, like the salt intake. What I did find interesting, and I want to review with you, is like and get your comments on that. Is actually they do tell like the servings per day you should eat of each categories of food. So grains, 6 to 8 servings per day. Vegetables, 4 to 5. Fruits, 4 to 5. So keep in mind, 4 to 5, like that would mean like 4 to 5 fruits per day. So a banana, an apple, an orange, like 5. So like you actually, I think okay, and dairy 2 to 3 servings per day. But like I have a feeling with that diet that you could easily like do like 400 grams of carbs per day.
So what's
If
going to
you do.
happen with that diet? Let's walk through this. If I'm a person with hypertension and I decide I'm going to do this DASH diet to help myself to decrease my hypertension, and I start eating, so I have to eat 4 to 5 servings of grains, 4 to 5 servings of fruit. How many servings of I mean, whatever.
We have
Just
meat.
if I just look at those two things, because those are the two things that concern me. So 4 to 5, so that's 9 to 10 servings
Right.
of fruits and grains in a day. The problem that I have with that is that the thing that's causing me to have hypertension, my excessive carbohydrate intake,
Mhm.
is still there. Now,
Definitely.
listen, you know what? I try my best to, listen to these things and, have that grain of salt idea.
Mhm.
So the problem that I have with this is that if this is supposed to solve hypertension, high blood pressure,
Mhm.
right? But yet the thing that causes high blood pressure
It's
is
carbs.
carbohydrates. Then eating 9 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables
Mhm.
every
Every day.
day not only is going to keep my hypertension high, but it's also going to damage my liver.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. I feel like whenever I see stuff like that, where the answer they're giving you, whether it's from the Diabetes Association, where they're telling you, you're not ready for medication yet, just keep doing what you're doing, or whether they're saying, change your diet to this thing, which is going to make it worse, you kind of wonder, is this about pushing me towards that medication?
Mhm.
Am I now that tree in the grove that they're waiting to say, it's time to pick violet soon?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's going to be harvest time. Do not let them turn you into a tree to be harvested. Right? That's not what you are. This is ridiculous. I don't even understand that this is something that came out from a government agent.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I do understand it, actually.
Yeah,
As I
yeah,
say
totally,
it.
yeah, of
As I
course.
say it. But we need to
Mhm.
know that doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
Right?
I know for sure Canada is like I think it actually is the biggest producer of grains like in the world. So of course they won't like
Listen.
push something that's like doesn't promote at some point grains, all
Listen.
grains.
Honestly, can I understand that go back 50, 70, 80 years, with the rapid rate at which our population was growing, that they got scared and that we need to figure out a way to feed all these people. And they started looking for the most prolific crop that they could do and tumbled onto grains and just started pushing this stuff, because, right, to feed us, to keep us alive. Can I? Yes. Now, fast forward to how much weight our little people weigh. How much weight our older people weigh. Right? The fact that we are overweight, all of us, it's time to stop and evaluate if this was the right way to do this, right?
Yeah.
Again, is being overweight better than dying of starvation? Of course I agree with that. But can we do better? Yes, we can. And I think the people who can afford to do better, we should be allowed to do better. Stop giving us poor information. Stop putting information in front of us that's supposed to distract us so that we keep buying what you want us to buy. And then the world pays for it because medical costs are high, because health problems are high. We need to be smarter than this, because you know what? As we move forward, we're living older and older, and having so many people now that Alzheimer's has become the thing, Parkinson's, like so many brain issues are happening because we are constantly pumping sugar into our brain that doesn't need to be there, right? Because sugar can cross the blood-brain barrier, right? We need to be careful. We need to be careful. So again,
like I don't know, like so like that caught my attention, because like why a diet would be ranked like last when it's so popular. For sure, you have people that gonna like give you the bad information, like the bad ways to do keto. If you want to eat whole food, and just honestly take the Mediterranean diet, just remove the fruits or be very selective with your fruit, fit it in your 20 grams or less, and don't eat the grains. Like many studies have shown that like they're not good for us. Call it the Mediterranean, like a Mediterranean diet version 2, or I don't know. Don't call it keto, but like you know what I mean. Like it's for me like the top 3 diets. If you just take out the grains, like
and the fruit.
And most of the fruits, like they're really similar, like fish, salad, good vegetables, nuts, seeds.
But it also just goes to show you that we're still in the mindset that fat is bad,
Right.
because we're leaning towards fish because it's lean. We're leaning towards, like, we're taking out the meats because why do we need to take the meats out? There's nothing wrong with eating meat. Meat is healthy to eat. The problem is that we need to stop pretending that fat is bad. And you said keto's a popular diet. No, it's not. It actually isn't a popular diet. I mean, think about it. For the number of people on this planet who should be eating keto, it's not a popular diet. It's the normal diet that we should be eating, right? If you think about it, we live in North America. You and me, North America. How much of the year is winter?
4 months.
4 months. And then go past that. How much of the year can we not grow anything because it's not ready to grow yet? So we're hitting at 6 months of the year that you can't actually get vegetation to eat. If we were back in the day, what would we be eating? Not animals during those 6 months? Right? And if we didn't have an animal, if we didn't catch something, what would we eat? Nothing, because it's snow. It's snow. We need to stop pretending that it's normal for us to eat as much carbohydrate as we eat, because all winter long we would not have had access. Any place where you have winter, all winter long, you would not have had access, right? And even the places where there's summer, or so I shouldn't say summer all year long, but warm weather all year long, the crops still cycle. So we need to stop pretending that fruits and vegetables are always available. Now, are we fortunate today that we've climate controlled ourselves and we can grow these things? Yes. But then don't disrespect your body because we're smart. You only get one. I can't say that enough. You only get one. When I mess this up, it's over, right? I'm done. Don't mess it up. Respect the fact that your body already makes sugar, enough for it, right? This whole idea that we need to be low fat, low.
No.
Enough. Enough. I can't.
No, I think when I do
can't.
find these articles, like I try to find the ones that are gonna like do those nice video endings.
I can't. Respect your body.
Yeah. And the keto diet is not like a bad. It can be a bad diet, of course. Like if you do like I said before, like you wrap a piece of butter in bacon and fry it in coconut oil, and that's all you
But
eat.
that's not the keto diet.
But that's not a keto diet.
The
But
keto
it-
diet is eating 20 grams of carbs or less.
It would fit into the definition of keto diet.
No, it
because-
doesn't.
Yeah.
The keto diet is
No, I know.
eating 20
If
grams
you-
of carbs.
I
No,
know.
no.
But if you take butter, wrap it in bacon, and fry it in coconut oil, you have 0 carbs.
But
So
I'm saying that's not the keto diet,
that's not a keto diet.
right? That's like saying that alcohol is water. It's not.
Mm.
Water is water and alcohol is alcohol,
Mhm.
right? The keto diet is something. It's eating 20
Yeah.
grams of carbs or less. That's the keto diet. Now, the foods you eat to get there is whatever you choose.
Mhm.
But it's not. People keep saying the keto diet is eating bacon. No, it's
Yeah,
not. There's
that's-
nowhere in the keto diet that says you have to eat bacon. If you hate bacon, you never have to touch bacon. There are a lot of people, for religious reasons, will not touch bacon and they can still do the keto diet.
Of course.
There are a lot of people, for religious reasons, do not eat cows. They can still do the keto diet. There are a lot of people, for whatever reason, won't eat chicken. They can still. You eat whatever protein source that you want because the keto diet is eating 20 grams of carbs or less. Your protein is a pivot.
Yeah.
Your fat is whatever fat came along with the protein source you decided to eat. There isn't a maximum, although if you eat too much of it, you're going to gain weight because overeating is overeating. It's so simple and yet so complicated because we complicate things.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time. Humans complicate things, right? This whole idea that I need to explain it when it's so simple. Because it is simple, and yet we complicate it because we don't want to accept that we're overweight. Unfortunately, we're overweight because of mistakes that we made in what we were actually eating. We made mistakes. I made them. You made them. Our kids were making them until we helped them to see what they were doing. And there's still some of you out there who are making them, and I need you to hear me because this is important. I need you to hear me. The keto diet is not about eating bacon or eating MCT oil or eating fat to excess. It's taking the carbohydrates down to 20 grams of carbs or less, and it's or less because some people need to go to 10. Some people need to go to 5. Why? That's how damaged your body is from eating too many carbs over the years. And you know what? What I'm saying doesn't make any money. There's no money in this. This is why we're not being told. What I'm saying right now, there's no money in it. Right? Any money that I make is because you decide to give it to me. Not because there's something to actually sell. It's that simple, right? So I want everybody to truly understand what the keto diet is. 20 grams of carbs or less.
That's it. That's all.
Right? Are there emotional pieces of the puzzle? Absolutely. Are there psychological pieces of the puzzle? Absolutely. That's why we do these videos. But the basics, when you hear someone say keto diet is about eating 75% fat or no, they're getting it wrong. And if you aim at that, you're going to be in trouble. Wow.
Okay.
There's, oh,
I think the rest is, I hope you found this video helpful.
I really hope you guys found this video helpful. If you want to contribute to the production of videos, Amazon links, Patreon links in the description. We love making these videos for you, and I want to thank you for
Totally.
watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition.
See you next week.
We'll see you next week.